motivational video, episode 1. The topic for this session is self-praise. It's a good place to start because right now I will begin by congratulating myself for recording this right now at Ford Mason in San Francisco and having the courage to use my voice in this semi-public setting. There may be one or two or very few people who can hear me right now, but I am going to attempt to speak without those thoughts going in other directions and instead focus on right here and right now. And as I get closer to the camera and I stare at myself that I am talking to, perhaps in a future video I will focus on someone else, but right now let's do a little more self-praise. Like, I like my beard and I love my eyes and the way my face appears in this camera. And this is a good place to start for motivation because there is this question. Let's raise this question. And starting my timer over, so we're making sure that we hit a 5-minute mark. We can go over 5 minutes, that's quite all right, but we're going to just start and go with this. The big question for this video, and it ties into motivation, because if you find it perhaps not easy, or if you think it is not right to praise yourself, then this may destroy your motivation for things you attempt in the future. And one notion that I had about self-praise is this very idea of, for example, this area I can see is very beautiful, and the trees behind us is overlooking the Bay Area. Down below to my right, I'm going to take the camera there if we can a little bit. To my right is this hill leading to a park. Yes, good camera motion. The rest of the city. And so there's clearly a lot I can praise about this natural setting that I am in. It's very easy to do, seemingly easy with the lighting and the shadows and all of that stuff. So what happens here is, if this is so easy for me to praise and appreciate, then there is nothing lesser about myself. To clarify that better, if the praising of this natural environment is so easy, but the praising of myself, or how I look at myself, or how you view yourself, if that is difficult, then what I would like to emphasize and get you start building some motivation thinking about this idea is that is a serious issue. That is a major issue. And I think one big reason, one big implication, or one big aspect of this being a major issue is that it is overlooked. It is buried. because probably most of us do not recognize this fact that it is so easy to praise this natural environment, but not as easy to praise those things about myself. Just that inherent fact demonstrates how potent of an issue this is. There should be as many, I would argue, far more things I should be appreciating about myself than this natural environment. As a side tangent, the philosophy of Stoicism would advocate that it is actually, me praising this environment. So that is a praise of something that I find beautiful. Now here we are at 6 minutes and 52 seconds, and this recording is slightly, I'm losing a little focus with some people walking by, and you notice how my voice became quieter, and that is part of why these motivational series videos are so important, not only to because you are working on self-motivation, but because a whole part of this motivation that we're going to build is working on your focus. Okay, and so this video in particular, it was a first video, and we can call it a rough draft, but I think I might just keep it and use it as a completion video for this topic. Unless I find more to say about self-praise, then we can jump back into it. But the real motivating factor I would just want to re-emphasize one more time is that if you struggle and do not naturally and habitually find things to praise about yourself, I want to re-emphasize that this is a serious issue. My face doesn't show it, but it is a serious issue. Like serious as in mentally unwell. Just because we have normalized it, just because it's become accepted, does not in any way imply that it is not a serious issue. Just because something's tolerable, right? Even a slave can tolerate slavery. Even people in abusive relationships can learn to tolerate those abusive relationships. And there's an incredible quote. I'm going to go a little bit further here, but there's an incredible quote from Shawshank Redemption where Morgan Freeman is saying, at first, you can't stand these walls. They're in a prison, the Shawshank prison. He says you can't stand these walls, and then they grow bearable, but pretty soon they become comforting to the point where you don't know how you could do without them. And he says that's institutionalized. And this is again the point that I want to start off and emphasize one final time, that if you struggle with praising yourself, I want you to begin recognizing that it is a serious issue that deserves much of your attention if you're interested in caring about yourself and your life's direction. Deuce. Okay, I'll work on my finishing moves.